They look like just regular deliveries. Right to the doorstep.
Thank you.
And at the post office, a package from the Netherlands. I bought this with Bitcoin. This was sold to me as GHB, the date rape drug. Drugs I've been coached to purchase by men online who are committing sickening crimes. They call this the coma drug, and it even comes with a dropper for dosing. Doctors use this to put patients under for surgery, propofol, the drug that killed Michael Jackson. I bought this off Amazon, and it can be turned into the date rape drug. These aren't just drugs, they're chemical weapons, a toolkit used by an online global network of men who secretly drug, rape, and record their crimes, their victims, their own girlfriends and wives.
You could see him like placing the camera on a stand, walking around, setting up the scene, dragging me in different areas.
We're calling her Melanie. She lives in Canada, but we aren't saying where. We're using a wig and have digitally altered her face and her voice. She's that scared.
Sickening and super fearful that I may never be safe.
That sense of safety vanished in 2023. It was the weekend of her wedding shower. Dress shopping, fittings, a celebration of her future, until a Facebook message shattered everything she thought she knew about her past.
If you don't email me, the photos, videos that the bodybuilder has taken will leak to everyone you know.
Below it, a single blurred photo.
And then when I opened it, it was a file, a screenshot of a file of a series of pictures of me unconscious and being raped.
When you clicked on that image and saw you in such a vulnerable state,
it was horrible. I think the image will always stay in my mind because it looked like just like a dead body. I knew it was me, but I was just so lifeless. And yeah, I think it was horrible.
Melanie had no idea who sent the Facebook message, and what they wanted wasn't clear, but she easily identified the man in the screen grab with her, an ex-boyfriend, a bodybuilder who she dated more than a decade earlier when she was just out of high school, 17 years old.
It was shock, fear, disbelief. I really felt like my whole world just crashed in an instant.
She phoned her fiancé, now her husband, in a panic. We're calling him Steve and have digitally altered his face as well.
And she called me when I was at a relative's house with my mom and was crying on the phone. I had some doubts about what my wife was saying, that she has no recollection of this. That just seemed extremely unusual.
Melanie says the relationship with her ex-boyfriend, who we're calling Jeff, ended on good terms when she was 19, and that never, not once, had she agreed to their sex life being photographed or videotaped.
When we were together, I was just starting my first year of university. He was in college. There was nothing that made me suspect that he was a criminal, would have done would have done something like that.
They went to the police, and the person behind the email made good on the threat to leak the image.
Some of those images were shared directly with family, and others, they went to my mom, my siblings.
As police began their investigation, Steve launched his own, desperate to uncover what else might be out there.
How do you even begin to infiltrate this sick, sick world?
I thought I'd have to go into the dark web, but I didn't even have to. As sad as it is to say, it was actually somewhat easy to find all of this, and it's quite accessible, and that's the most disturbing part.
Online searching led him to a porn site where he found far more than a single screenshot.
I saw torture, I saw deceit, I saw groups of people organized together to talk about how to drug wives, girlfriends. It's evil. It is pure evil and darkness.
Steve went deep into that evil and found videos of a teenaged, unconscious Melanie. Dozens of them being used like currency in the rapist network. He bought them with Bitcoin.
What were those images of? What did they show?
It is the most grotesque and sick, dehumanizing stuff that you could ever think about or see. It is unfathomable.
Rape is too gentle of a word. The videos show Melanie being sexually tortured with construction tools and household items, being slapped, being dragged, being posed, being raped. Crimes from more than a decade ago that she was completely unaware of.
Like, it wasn't just like rape. It was like torture and humiliation, and so for me to see what happened, there was just so many different things that were used and done.
That violence was inflicted on her in a way that left no obvious marks or injuries in the mornings.
And no memory when you woke up of feeling at all off?
I don't know. Like, maybe I did. This is like 10 to 15 years ago, so maybe I did at that time wake up, but I don't remember anything like alarming.
Melanie began piecing together the past, remembering the times her ex-boyfriend Jeff pushed her to take diet pills before bed.
He said it was a natural supplement that you take it before bed and it's going to help you with your weight loss. And then when I told him that I didn't want to take it anymore because it was making me feel sick in the morning, he got super angry and kind of demanded that I try it for longer.
Jeff even faked an email from the diet supplement company claiming the pills were completely safe.
On so many levels, all of this is horrifying, but the person you love has that in them to do something so violent and evil.
How can someone do that to your partner and then wake up the next day and give them a kiss and be like, good morning, and, have a good day? How can someone do that?
He didn't just do it to Melanie. He did it to other women too. A sickening discovery Steve made as he watched the video files he had purchased.
This was a person who seemed otherwise normal, member of society, and was doing stuff like this for 20 plus years and no one had any idea. How many other rapists are living in our communities that we have no idea about?
Melanie's story opened the door, and what we found on the other side was bigger than anyone imagined.
I was always told, be careful when you go out to the clubs. Don't ever leave your drink around. Never would I have thought, be careful of your partner.
This is the Instagram account of that former partner, Jeff, who so violated Melanie as a teen. A weightlifter and personal trainer who had been living a seemingly normal life near Moncton, New Brunswick, with his wife. Until 2023, when Melanie and Steve triggered a police investigation that exposed horrifying crimes stretching back decades. When police raided his home and the gym where he worked, they seized hard drives, computers, cell phones. What they found is sickening. More than 10,000 images and videos of child pornography, many involving toddlers and infants. And hidden in the armrest of a chair in the living room, a memory card with 30 videos of his ex-girlfriend, Melanie, torture tapes, and a recipe for making GHB, the date rape drug.
As they gathered more and more and more and more evidence that it wasn't just a one-time thing, that it was our entire relationship. And we were together for 2.5 years.
Jeff appeared in court with a plan to plead not guilty. His wife offered to post bail, telling the judge their relationship was loving, stable, and safe. She believed her husband's innocence and had no idea just what was coming. In the videos Steve hunted down online and purchased with Bitcoin, most of the files were of his wife, Melanie, but not all.
I ended up finding not only my wife's content, but other victims from the same perpetrator.
When I went through the file, I saw things that were not me, and I could identify that it was his wife.
Jeff's own wife, the one who called him loving and safe. She has since filed for divorce and says she's too traumatized to speak to us. And there's more. A third victim whose face we are digitally altering.
I was just in a state of shock, like I'm almost outside my body. And
Julie was Jeff's girlfriend before Melanie, back in 2006. She was 15 years old. He was a couple of years older, and they saw each other off and on for 4 years. Julie had no idea what he'd done to her until the RCMP called her in 2024.
then when they pulled pictures and I saw me naked and passed out, it was clear I was getting raped, and I was saying no, and I was like falling in and out of consciousness.
It's such a violation. This is in your home with the person who you should be able to trust most.
Exactly. This is the scariest part, and that's a common point between all victims. Like, we had no idea, we figure he must have drugged us late at night, and then we just woke up in the morning.
Julie doesn't know how often it happened.
I want answers. I want to know, how did you do this? Were you able to drug me without me knowing? And how often you did this to me? That's what I want. I want answers.
Police told Melanie that she was drugged at least 30 times, likely with a homemade date rape drug.
This is horrifying to think about the number of times he'd used some kind of drug on you that could have killed you.
Yeah, and almost did.
What do you mean?
In some of the videos, you can see me starting to struggle for air.
Melanie's husband, Steve, happens to be a medical doctor.
When you looked at those videos of Melanie, what did you see?
I saw something called laryngospasm, and it's a very distinct kind of sound. When they're trying to take a breath, they can't take a breath. It's a very high-pitched kind of sound, and I saw that with my wife. People stroke out and can die from this. And people can have permanent disability from this. And the fact that she didn't is a miracle.
This is not just about one man. It's an organized online community of rapists who share and sell videos of their crimes. I've spent months infiltrating their global network, pretending to be one of them, learning how they buy drugs, how they carry out their crimes, and how they work together to get away with it. I created a fake profile on 2 porn sites, set up an account on the messaging app Telegram, and just like that, I'm in. This isn't the dark web. It's public porn sites, forums, messaging apps, all of it hiding in plain sight. Accompanying their homemade videos, public comments where they describe their unconscious wives as dolls. They give each other suggestions on how to dress them, how they should be posed. Melanie's rapist, Jeff, had been selling videos of her abuse in the network for years. He even had a private Telegram group that people paid to join. And now, others inside the network are reposting and reselling them, along with their own videos and ways to connect with them on Telegram. I chat with a number of different men. This one's telling me he's been raping his girlfriend for years. I ask if she's cool with him making the videos. He sends me a video of his unconscious girlfriend and tells me if I buy his album, I can see how to do it. One user sends me a link to a sleep folder with more than 15,000 videos of drugged and raped women. Included in the file, 2 separate folders dedicated entirely to videos of Melanie. The women in these videos will have no memory of what's being done to them. Different men give advice on the best drugs to use. I was sent an entire menu with prices. Anesthetic gases with masks. Portable anesthesia liquid vaporizers. Drugs to knock women out. Drugs to erase their memory in liquid and pills. They share how products on Amazon can be turned into homemade date rape drugs. They mention this website in Malaysia that sells obedience and coma drugs. This is the translation. The obedience drug promises that they won't know how to resist, cannot think, will have no memory, can act but no power. They say it's discreetly packaged as hair serum. In chats about the coma drug, the men give some half-hearted warnings.
Gave my girlfriend, and once she is down, she started breathing heavily, as if she was trying to catch her breath in her sleep. Felt like I almost took her life.
The comment gets a thumbs up.
2 of my friends have used it. My other friend OD'd his target. Had to get her to hospital. It might be lethal. Just follow the instructions and you'll be fine.
And it's not just websites in Asia. This is from a company based in Edmonton, Alberta. They sell everything from towels to cake pans, crutches, and propofol. You can order it online. No medical license required. Dealers in the network warn me propofol is expensive and hard to find, but linenplus.ca is selling it online for $119, delivered right to the front door. No signature needed, no questions asked. We purchased the date rape drug, GHB, which comes disguised as a bar of soap, from a man on Telegram who's also selling videos of Melanie's rapes. We've taken all the drugs we've bought to labs in both Toronto and the US to confirm that what we've been sold is the real deal. While waiting for the lab results to come back, there's a flurry of panicked texts from Melanie and Steve that someone from Germany keeps calling and leaving cryptic messages at Melanie's work. I'm on my way to Germany. Melanie's been getting these strange calls at work that she thought was a threat. It turns out it's something else entirely. There is an online network of men who secretly drug, rape, and record their wives and girlfriends, and sell and trade videos of that abuse around the world. My investigation has brought me here to Hamburg, Germany. A Canadian victim, Melanie, feared she was being extorted again after messages left at her work from someone in Germany. But it turns out those cryptic calls were actually a warning.
Hello.
From journalists here.
Avery.
Nice to meet you. Hi, Isabel. Nice to meet you.
Investigating the same horrifying network. Isabel Strue and Isabel Baer are investigative journalists with the German public broadcaster NDR. Their YouTube program is called Steuerung F.
Melanie's really concerned that her information is easy to find. How difficult was it for you to find out where she worked?
Well, a lot of information was shared in the Telegram groups. They know her name, they know what she works, everything, every detail of her. Some people say they became quite obsessed. We saw that this personal information was shared, and we wanted to know, is she aware of it? Because we thought that this could be dangerous for her, as they know so much about her.
This is why Melanie is so terrified. The men online know everything about her. One describes Melanie's profession, says she lives in Canada, even names the city, and talks about a plan someone had to pay her a visit. They're also sharing her graduation photo with a fake backstory, which we believe is written by her rapist because it details the weight loss pills she was tricked into taking. The Germans chatted with one man who revealed an extortion attempt.
And he even told us that the guys on the internet tried to reach her by phone and also via email with the videos. And he also wrote that he want to, was hat er mal erpressen, dieses Wort?
That they tried to extort her?
Yeah.
It's a clue in the mystery haunting Melanie about who sent that email on her bridal shower weekend. Maybe it was an obsessed fan, men who are reveling in the videos of her sexual torture. They've printed off some of the disturbing comments under the videos.
He gave her a lot. I've never seen a girl so lifeless.
Put her in a light coma and went to town.
That's a lot. I would be afraid I could kill her.
I love limp stuff.
She's some of the best stuff out there.
We found out there were many Germans also having Melanie's footage in their favorites.
We compare notes and discover a connection between our investigations.
So there are links, international links to users from all over the world.
Jeff in New Brunswick was connected online with two men they're tracking in Germany, Tim and Niels. Niels committed similar crimes against his wife for at least 15 years.
Many of these men are very good in manipulating women, so the women have trust in their husbands.
And how to make sure that the woman won't notice anything and won't get suspicious.
Back in Canada, faced with the mountain of evidence uncovered by Melanie's husband Steve and the police, Jeff changed his plea to guilty of possessing child porn and guilty for crimes against his wife, crimes against Julie, crimes against Melanie.
I think he thrived with doing all of this in the shadows and us not knowing what he was doing. And I wanted to be able to look at him in the eye. And in that moment, it was like, yeah, I am here and I know what you did.
In court in 2024, he blamed his crimes on his parents' divorce when he was 7, on not having his computer time supervised as a teen, on accidentally coming across child pornography and then becoming addicted to it and craving it like a drug. Porn, he claimed, turned me into a monster.
Hearing him speak really made me understand how truly sick he is. And in that moment, I wasn't scared of him anymore.
I'm truly ashamed and disgusted by my actions, and I promise you that none of this will ever happen again.
It was like a poor me kind of speech. Like, he was like sobbing in tears, and he was like, I would like to extend my apology.
The judge said his apology came across as self-centered and overly focused on his own importance. In 2024, she sentenced him to 16 years behind bars.
I don't think there's a high enough sentence that could justify what was done to me and what was done to everybody else.
So who is this rapist? Well, I can't tell you. He's protected by a publication ban because naming him would identify one of his victims, his now ex-wife.
They said that all victims have to be in agreement for his name to be lifted. And then they also said that, and if his name is lifted, now you guys are not protected. And there's no guarantee that your names will not be out there. I would like for his name to be out on the street, and I hate that I need to protect him in order to protect myself.
The 37-year-old man has been convicted of crimes against 3 women, but another has come forward, believing she is his very first victim.
I hope I never see him again.
He really harmed you.
I was 9 years old, so...
Catherine is not her real name, and we've digitally altered her face. The rapist is her stepbrother.
You don't have to tell me anything that you don't want to tell me.
He would just come in the middle of the night while I was sleeping. And I guess everybody can guess the rest of what he would do to me.
You're the first person to know the monster that he is.
When Catherine was 5, her mother remarried a man with a son. She says she was 9 when the abuse began. Her stepbrother, Jeff, was a teenager.
Why didn't you feel safe telling anybody what he was doing to you in the middle of the night?
I thought I was not going to be believed. And also, I was scared.
Catherine kept her secret buried for decades until Jeff's arrest in 2023 gave her the strength to go to the police. So far, no charges have been laid, and she fears there are other victims.
Timelines that sometimes that he was not with someone. What did he do then? To do those drugs, I'm surprised he didn't kill anybody. That's the thing that I'm always wondering, if something happened somewhere and we don't know. I think they'll never find the whole truth of everything he's done.
Jeff lived most of his life in New Brunswick, but we know he lived in Alberta in 2014. Shortly after his arrest, the RCMP posted this public warning that he could potentially have carried out offenses there as well. Melanie and her husband Steve say police have hinted that other unidentified women have been found on Jeff's devices. Steve says the RCMP showed him pictures of 1, possibly 2 other women.
We have been asked to identify some pictures of people, but we don't know what that means. If I had to guess, I would imagine there's other victims, but I don't know.
The RCMP has refused an interview. In repeated emails, I asked, what's being done or has been done to identify the women in those images? Have any other potential victims been identified, including when the offender lived in Alberta? The RCMP refused to answer any of those questions. erroneously claiming they couldn't because of the publication ban on the names of the offender and victims.
No one knows how many other people don't even know that they're victims.
Men who target their intimate partners find each other on porn sites and then often connect on VIP Telegram groups. There are dozens of them. I went to join this one with a profile image of a woman with underwear covering her face. There are 2 ways to join. Send a 1-minute video with a VIP sign on an unconscious woman. I'm even sent video tutorials on how to do it. Or pay $80 in crypto or PayPal. These rapists are so brazen. They're putting up videos of their own crimes on public porn sites, and their online friends are posting similar videos. Even though he's in jail for crimes against his ex-wife and 2 former girlfriends, Jeff's profile hasn't been taken down. When the RCMP was investigating, did they scour through his friends list? Because I did, and I came across this guy, who we're calling Eric. With just a little bit of digging, I was able to figure out his name, his address in Ontario, his phone number, and his profession. He's uploaded 11 videos of 5 or 6 different women. You can clearly see the faces of the women, and he shows his face as well. And a very distinguishing characteristic, an amputated left hand. In this video, there's evidence that he belongs to one of the VIP Telegram groups. There's a woman lying on the bed, and she appears to be completely unconscious. And at one point in the video, he pulls out a syringe and injects her with something. And at the very end, he gets out a piece of paper and writes VIP Group 2023 on it, and then puts the piece of paper on top of her stomach. We've found the same man on different websites searching to buy powerful sedatives, asking questions about making his own GHB, the date rape drug. He even loved a group discussion about how to track down videos of Melanie's rape. This shows just how connected this online network is. Eric in Ontario has posted at least 5 or 6 videos of women. He's online friends with Jeff in New Brunswick. We know that Eric and Jeff are friends with Niels, one of the men the German journalists are investigating. They're also investigating Tim, who's online friends with Henri in Switzerland. He sometimes wears this fox mask in his videos. Henri repeatedly comments on Eric's videos, and both Eric and Henri have added a new friend. Henri's even shared his email address. He has no idea that this is actually me. In emails to me, he brags that he's been sedating women for 20 years, that his wife has sleep apnea, but has respiratory arrest very rarely. So what, we don't die from it, he says. He gives disturbing and painstaking details about how he knocks his wife out. He calls her his doll, his toy. The RCMP has had access to this very public network since 2023. They refused to answer any questions about whether their investigation extended beyond Jeff or whether they shared information with other jurisdictions. The RCMP says their investigation is considered completed and closed. While the RCMP has closed its case, our investigation has led to new cases being opened in 2 other jurisdictions. Henri shared a lot about himself in his email exchanges, his real first name, and the city where he lives. We've shared it all with Swiss police. They confirm they have now launched an investigation. We dug up a lot about Eric as well and shared it, his real name, address, and his porn sites with Hamilton police. Just days later, a bombshell.
Police in Hamilton have charged a man with drugging and raping a woman and posting the video online.
We begin tonight with a CTV News exclusive.
A horrifying glimpse into a disturbing online network.
At a drive-through Tim Hortons in Hamilton, Eric, who we can now tell you is actually a man named Brian Hayward, was arrested.
Busted!
With an amputated left hand, they shackled his feet. The 36-year-old home contractor faces a long list of charges: sexual assault, administering a noxious substance, voyeurism, distribution of intimate images, assault with a weapon. The charges so far relate to alleged crimes against just one woman. We've dug up Brian Hayward's rap sheet. It is lengthy and spans cities and decades. Fraud, forgery, impaired driving, theft, drug possession, a charge of making an explosive substance in 2021, which we believe resulted in the loss of his left hand, was withdrawn. And in July of 2024, he was charged with dangerous driving and criminal harassment of an ex-girlfriend. That woman is also the alleged victim in the drugging and raping charges just laid against Brian Hayward. A woman we've learned first went to police about him almost a year and a half ago, in January of 2024. Hamilton police acted fast on our tip about Brian Hayward, making an arrest in just days. But I'm on my way to meet a woman with shocking allegations that he has been on police radar with red flags and warnings for years about other women and about his own daughter. We're calling her Rachel and are protecting her by digitally altering her face. She is Brian Hayward's ex-wife. They have a daughter together. Rachel says in June of 2023, Brian picked up his daughter from school for a visit. She was 11.
He had asked me if she could sleep over that evening, and I said no. She was returned to me at around 8 o'clock. She didn't look well. She was slumped over. She was drooling. She was clearly intoxicated. I texted him at around 8:10, so 10 minutes after he had brought her home. It looks like she's been drugged, Brian. I took her to the emergency. We were there within 10 minutes.
The hospital medical records note lethargy, slurred speech, unsteady gait. The toxicology report shows her 11-year-old daughter was positive for benzodiazepines, sedatives.
Oh my God. It was a lot of emotions, fear, and anger.
The hospital alerted Hamilton police, who began an investigation. This was in 2023. Rachel shared the weeks of email exchanges she had with them into 2024, detailing her fear for their safety. The officer writes that they're investigating, but there are no updates in regards to the matter. Desperate to push police into action, Rachel told them about a terrifying incident during her marriage a decade ago when they lived in Calgary.
I was nervous for a big meeting at work the next day. I got a headache. He gave me what I thought was a Tylenol or Advil. I immediately got tired. I went to sleep. I woke up to him strangling me. I went to the kitchen, got a knife, and I chased him out of the house.
Why didn't you go to the police?
Out of the fear of how victims are often not believed. There's no proof. I did not report it until the incident with my daughter 2 years ago. I told them that I was suspicious that what he'd given me was drugs, and they asked me why I was telling them that. I told them because I believe it's relevant to what happened to my daughter.
Rachel says police brushed her off, but was sure what happened next would force them to act. One of Brian's ex-girlfriends reached out to Rachel when she learned about her daughter's drugging, claiming he had done the same thing to her and that he videotaped it.
I passed on that information to the Hamilton police, and they, to my knowledge, never investigated it fully.
This is the email chain with police in January of 2024. Rachel also shared other evidence with them.
There were potential names of other victims. There was the porn accounts that he had that you found him on.
Police emailed her back explaining they spoke to the ex-girlfriend at length. She didn't press charges because she didn't think she'd be believed. But Brian Hayward is now behind bars because of her current allegations against him. No charges were ever laid in the suspicious drugging of Rachel's daughter in 2023. Hamilton police tell us there was insufficient evidence at the time, but that with the new information that has come to light, we will be reviewing all cases involving Brian Hayward. We know more potential victims have gone to police, but they won't say how many to protect the integrity of the investigation. More than half a dozen women reached out to us as well, some of them even sharing text conversations they claim to have had with Brian. This is from a registered nurse in Toronto. In 2022, she writes to him, "You drugged me and raped me. That will never be okay." Like so many other women, Rachel is terrified what police might discover when they go through his devices. How do you prepare for what they might find?
It's impossible to prepare for. My only concern at this point is my daughter. Of course, I would like to know if I was shared in that content, but it would shatter our worlds to find out that she was.
Hamilton police say during their raid of Brian Hayward's home, they seized drugs, including GHB and powerful sedatives. The same kind of drugs we purchased while infiltrating the online network. We took those drugs to labs in Toronto and the US to be tested, and the results are in. That bar of soap, pure GHB. The hair serum is a combination of a compound that converts to GHB and meth. We contacted Amazon.ca about that beauty product we bought, which is being used to make homemade GHB. They have now removed it from their website. As for the propofol we ordered online from a Canadian company,
Oh, and thank you for calling Linen Plus.
I called Linen Plus head office in Edmonton.
Just how can I help you?
Is it legal to sell a medical grade anesthetic to the public?
Yes, it is.
Linen Plus has since pulled propofol from its website. A company lawyer tells us only one order was ever filled, the propofol we bought. They say it's the result of a glitch. Health Canada has already acted on our investigation, visiting Linen Plus and an unannounced inspection of the wholesaler, also based in Edmonton. Health Canada says it observed non-compliance with food and drug regulations and has ordered a recall.
These are dangerous drugs that, if not used properly, will kill people.
Melanie's husband, Steve, a doctor, says there needs to be more oversight. Right now, only drugs at high risk of addiction or abuse are listed as controlled substances in Canada. There are fewer restrictions for anesthetics and powerful sedatives.
So the fact that anesthetics that put someone to sleep, render them unconscious, even long-acting sedatives that are not listed, it's a real concern because this is being used for very nefarious purposes. Why are they not controlled?
This is the medium-security Dorchester prison in New Brunswick. Jeff is serving a 16-year sentence for crimes against his now ex-wife and 2 former girlfriends. He could be out on parole as early as 2029. While Steve has high praise for the RCMP officer in their case, he questions why more wasn't done to investigate the network.
Our lead investigator was exceptional, but we need to do more about this to identify these sick people and actually prevent other people from being harmed. It seems like the system is rigged to favor criminals.
In Hamilton, Brian Hayward's former wife, Rachel, who tried to warn police for years, wonders why it was an investigation by journalists and not police that led to charges being laid.
I have lost all trust and faith in the system. I truly believe that if it weren't for your intervention, that he would still be free today.
Melanie and Steve, who first exposed this criminal network to the RCMP in 2023, are moving on with their lives. But the damage of what's been done has no end. Videos of Melanie's face, her body, her trauma are right now being uploaded and shared. For her, this is a life sentence.
Obviously, all those people are very sick and disturbed individuals. A lot of them are criminals. And I just need to be like constantly on guard for my safety. All the stuff that was distributed on these online groups, my full name, where I live, where I work. Will one of them try to find me one day? I may never be safe.